hey there, guys. It's Jennie Wolek with the Wolek Group, Keller Williams Realty. And thanks so much for coming back and hanging out for this next episode of Agent Success Secrets. But listen, I'm so excited to chat with you a little bit about your business and, how you've grown through all of these years. It's a long career and you've learned a lot. You probably failed a lot. Hopefully that's why you're
More than I've learned, I think. Yeah.
yeah, right. So just introduce yourself, who you are, where you are, and let everybody know what you do in this business.
Yeah, good question. My name's Erick Peterson. I am a 16-year real estate agent in the northwest and western suburbs of Minneapolis. So we serve basically the entire west side and northwest quadrant of the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. We're on a team of myself and 3 agents and various administrative staff, as we have talked about. And just really excited to help share some of our successes because that's how we all get better together, right?
Well, I just love learning from you, and I know that that database and relationships are so important to you. How did you discover that early on in your career? If someone's watching and maybe they're just starting in this real estate business, or they're trying to reignite their business during a shifting market, what are some tips you have for those early days that you wish you knew then what you know now?
Early days, gosh, that's a long time ago now. So, I early on, I think it's very easy to get wrapped up in just looking at your career or your job as, all right, I did a deal. Now I got to go find the next deal. And then now I got to find the next deal. And you just run this rat race, or you're on this hamster wheel, right? And then you start to realize, oh, for every person that I treat really well and do a great job for, they likely will buy again in 5 to 7 years. And they have a sphere of 200 additional people that they know, right? And so you start to kind of connect the dots early on as to, hey, these people just gave my name to this person, who just gave my name to this person. It's been really fun because now I'm starting to show up to, places where I'm competing against other agents, and they say, well, we interviewed 3 agents, but we got your name from 3 of our different friends. And so that becomes a much easier conversation. And so you just treat people like you'd want to be treated, right? It's pretty simple. Just provide value and follow up with them and stay in tune with what's going on in their lives, right? It's so easy to just sit back and watch people live on Facebook and Instagram, but you don't know anything about who they really are if you're not physically calling those people. So one of the things that I'm most proud about is earlier this year I implemented a birthday phone call, and I am not a great singer, but everybody gets a song from me, and actually that's been going on for a couple of years now. So people actually will wait for those phone calls. They'll say, "Oh my gosh, there's 2 people that call me. It's you and my mom. That's it. Everyone else is just wishing me happy birthday on Facebook." So you just start to build those relationships, and people know that you care. And ultimately, then they care about your success as well, and deliver, those people who need you.
So what I heard inside of that I want to point out is you've been in the business 16 years. You've had a great, successful career, and you're still adding on and layering in and sharing more love and appreciation for your database. So tell me about your touch plan and how many touches that your people in your network get from you.
Yeah, excellent question. So that's where it all starts, right? That's building those relationships by touching people consistently and adding that value. So we have a pretty standard 36 touch. It's monthly home valuations. We do 2 flagship events every year. It's a bingo event in the spring and an Oktoberfest event in the fall. Those are each 6 touches. We have quarterly calls and quarterly text messages. And then as of about the last year, we added an additional 52 touches to our database. And
just to make sure that they were, hearing from
just to make sure that everybody was getting the proper amount of FaceTime with our team, right? So we created what we call the 5 best things. And it's not necessarily calls to action every week or check this property out, or like we get blasted with so many of those emails all the time. So what the 5 best things is it's our top 5. It could be our top 5 lake cabins in Minnesota. Maybe on the 4th of July, it was the top 5 places to watch fireworks. It could be, and it usually rotates every other week between something real estate related and something non-real estate related. And some people say maybe you shouldn't be touching them if there's no real response or anything like that. But your presence and staying in front of all of those people. I mean, we have a database of 10,000 people. Just staying in front of that many people, there's no way you could make quarterly calls to that many people without a massive ISA program, right? And quarterly text and actually have real relationships. Because isn't that what we're trying to build with our clients, is real relationships where they're going to refer us business and use it again and be part of our little communities and actually find value in what we do, not as just realtors, but as actual humans, right? So we've widened our highway a little bit, but we've gotten rid of all the more and all of the excess, and we've just really focused on being better and in our lane.
It's just that top of mind and being there. I mean, you've been in as a long time like I have, and they're hearing, they're seeing, and they're feeling your touches, even if they're not responding. Isn't that fun when you get the,
I just want to know you're there.
Come and sell my house.
Yeah, you're ready when they are, right? You're not going to force their timeline. That's their families and their jobs and their decisions that are going to do that. But what you can do is be the resource for them when they need that. And so your job in staying in front of them is just to make sure that you have earned the right to be their number one call if and when that opportunity pops up.
And you will be, because you've done your job. Now, when you get to that appointment that they've said, hey, Erick, thanks for always staying in touch. We're ready for you to come sell our house. And you get to the appointment specifically with sellers in this new evolving market where the inventory may still be low and maybe rates are a little bit higher. And so there's still a lot of demand for properties. How are you going to win the listing when any agent could put a sign in the yard and it likely sells?
Yeah, that's another good question, right? I think the interesting thing about hot markets is that there's so many agents who haven't learned how to properly market and sell a home and haven't learned that there's so much that goes into the process because they've just done, as Diana says in her bold listing presentation, right? They put a sign in the yard, they put it in the MLS, and they pray that somebody else sells it. And so, for us, what we've developed is we've actually developed a 3-tiered listing plan where a seller can choose which plan that they want, and ultimately they've got a hand and a decision in the value that we bring to them. And so it's done quite a bit for us. It's given us a lot of options, and it's helped us maintain control while still allowing sellers to feel like they have a hand in what we're doing. And so we make the assumption, quote unquote, right, that we're going to pay out the standard, the MLS standard, which in our market is about 2.7%. And then we've got plans at 3.5%, 4%, and 4.5%. And more often than not, people choose that base plan, right? But it's still higher than the additional 6%. And when people, start wanting to negotiate on commissions, we can just start to pull individual things and maybe meet in the middle. Like I list a lot of properties at 6.4 or 6.5% because they want everything from this column, but they'd like to pay this column. And when you can find compromise and still be earning more money, by the way, for what you're doing, it's a win-win for everybody.
So you made me think of this quote my smart coach always says, and it is that we want to give them options, not ultimatums.
Yep.
So whenever a client is saying, I'd like to hire you, but I would like to pay X amount percentage, then you could say, great, well, let's look at how that could work.
Yeah. Well, and the other side to that coin is, which of our services don't you want to take advantage of? Which of our services don't you think you need to sell your home? Because that's almost that takeaway close, right?
Yeah. Now, I know you're going to share this document that lists out all of your different value items, and that'll be super helpful for agents who are watching. They can download that and maybe amend it to their market. What do you feel like is I would assume that the items on your list of value cost real money sometimes, but maybe some of them don't cost money, but they just don't know that you're doing that stuff.
Yep.
How that
Well, I
works.
think that can be said for, I mean, I think for anything in our industry, right? It's money or it's time, right? And so, you know, how often have you heard, well, they said they list at 5.5%, but they never actually told me what they were going to do.
Right.
If I told you, Jenny, I'll list your house at 5.5%, and I'm going to, you know, put it in the multiple listing service, and I'm going to take, you know, have a floor plan drawn up in this. That other agent may do that, but the fact that they didn't explain what they actually did means that they didn't impact the seller enough, or they didn't provide the seller enough value to choose them. And so our goal is really to say, this is our process and this is what we do, and lay it all on the table and say, ball's in your court. Which one do you want to take advantage of?
Yeah. Which one do you pick? Let's
Yeah.
let's go. Let's sign it and get going, right?
And what we've found is that as home prices increase, and I'm not talking about, you know, market appreciation. I'm talking going from a $300,000 sale to an $850,000 sale. Those people are so used to nice things that they actually want and are willing to pay for the higher commissions.
Isn't that such a testament to human nature? We will always see, well, if it costs more, it must be better or have more value, or, I really I do that every day. So that's just
Yeah.
falling for it. I would pick the highest because it's the most expensive. What have you found from direct feedback from your clients? You work with a lot of referrals and past clients who come back around, and you offer these great items of value and opportunities for them. What is the feedback that they have when it comes to how you guys do business inside of your world?
Yeah, I think the feedback's been very good. We really wanted to put a litmus test to what we were doing and how we were operating, right? And so there was an element of social proof that we needed to be able to compete online, right? Because that's really where it shows up. Like I can have a conversation with a seller and say, hey, I think you guys missed this, or I think, you guys did a great job with this. Unless they're telling their friends about it one-on-one, there's no way of really expanding that to have people see what you've done, right? And so we made a big push over the last couple of years. We have over 250 five-star Google reviews. I'm sure there's teams in many markets that crush that, and that's fantastic. That's been a great thing for us, because we refer people to our website all the time and say, you know what, I can tell you what we do till I'm blue in the face, but why don't you go look at what all these other people are saying about us?
Right.
There's so many people that come through and say, we read the reviews, we saw these other people online. Nobody seems to have as good of a presence as you guys do in this local market.
Okay, so because I'm a tactical and systems person, so how do you get so many Google reviews, Erick?
Well, we just decided to bake it into our process. And
Right.
so we look at the honeymoon phases of each of the transactions. And so right after an offer has been accepted, right after closing, and then, we're usually making like a 1 week phone call after the sale. So we're baking it in. And I think within our transaction, people are getting asked 4 or 5 times. And we actually created the verbiage around to say, we really pride ourselves on great reviews from clients like you. So please, we'd love to earn a 5-star review. And maybe it's a little bit leading, maybe not, who knows. But if you're encouraging that good behavior, it's going to be rewarded. So it's just gone very, very well for us, and been a pretty critical element in actually in our lead generation. So we're experiencing right now, obviously our number one source of business is Sphere database, past clients, but Google local service ads is a close number two.
It's so fun when they call us. And the cool thing about a Google review that's generated a client is there's no referral fee on it. They already trust you because they did all the online research to even vet you to know. So I think that's a great reminder for everyone. If you aren't having reviews as a part of your process, just add it into your checklist. Make sure that you're reminded to do it. They want to give, here's how I say it. I say, we sure loved helping your family. You were amazing. And most buyers and sellers are starting their search online these days anyway. Would you mind allowing us to help more great families just like you by giving us an online 5-star review? So
that's great.
We're bragging about how amazing they are because you're telling them the truth. You really did enjoy that, of course.
Yep.
Right.
Well, and I think, we've seen this kind of interesting dynamic over the last year with rate hikes and things like that. People have almost become immune to online leads, right? Through Facebook or whatever, and they're just junk. They're just, they're awful leads. We really added a ton of people to our pipeline and to our database because we didn't sleep on those when rates were going up. If somebody's online actively searching for homes in a market where you're seeing 6.5% to 7% interest rates, they have a need to move. They don't care whether or not rates are what they are because they need to make this happen.
I love it. Okay. So it's great to have an awesome business and help lots of families. But there's the other side of us as humans, and that is our personal life. So, all the years of your success and growth are amazing in your business life. How's it gone on the family side? What's most important to you over there?
Yeah, I think that's been one of the hardest learning curves, right? Because in the beginning, you just want to be as successful as you can and you're willing to sacrifice so much. But as we've talked and as our coaches have told us, and I've had a coach for years and years and years, and I attribute a lot of my successes to those guys and my partnerships with them, as I'm sure you do too, your relationships, right? But you learn really quickly what's important when your kids get disappointed, right? And you learn really quickly what's important. Well, I said it.
No, you're right.
I think people need to hear it, right?
For sure.
So I'm a dad. I've got 3 daughters, Ruby, Georgie, and Etta, 11, 9, and 7, as this is being recorded. And I don't miss games. I just make it a priority to put those in my calendar first. And everything else gets scheduled right around it. And so, for me, I'm an avid outdoorsman, hunter fisher. I have to miss mega camp this year for the first time in I think 10 or 15 years because I'm going on a big elk hunt in Colorado in the beginning of September. And at the end of the day, it's the time that we spend with our kids in these games and the things that we do to fuel our passion that allows us to accelerate faster when we're in the office because we know that we got to get home to do this. Or we got to be home to watch the kids, or we got a game that we got to take them to an hour away, or we're going on a trip to Canada to shoot geese. So it's really just a matter of prioritizing who you are and the things that you want and finding a way to work them all out in your schedule.
So important and a great way to end our conversation. I so agree that our families come first, and then our business should fit into that. Same with our vacations and our other personal joys that we want to have in our life. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. So how do you want to wrap up? What's the most important thing you share with any real estate agent or leader, salesperson, human that's watching?
So I'll share this. So I have really over the last year been focused on simplifying who we are and what we do and finding more alignment with the values in who we are, right? And over the course of the last year and a half, 2 years, longer than that, really honing in on what we do, how we do it, and how it is in alignment with our values, right? And getting better instead of having more, right? Find your lane, pick what things that you love to do, and people will naturally gravitate to you if your authentic self is showing up in the best way possible to help them.
So good. So good. Well, how can people find you?
You can find me, Erick P, ERICKP at KW.com, EP Sells MN on Instagram, Erick Peterson on Facebook, or just give me a call.
I so appreciate you. You are such a gem, and I hope all will watch and learn from you. So thanks for hanging out today.
Thanks so much for the time today, Jennie.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.